Hi, all. This movie is to help understand the three types of gradients, the linear, the radial gradients, and the freeform gradients. And I want to show you all some really cool quick trips through each one of the shapes. I'm going to start with a M key rectangle, okay? And I have the default gradient right over here. And there are a couple gradients in here that I'll maybe use. So I'm going to make a big gradient. Okay, and I'm going to fill it. So I'm clicking the fill, and I'm going to click that gradient right there. Now that's just a black and white gradient, obviously. Okay, what I want to show you, and I'm going to make another square behind it, just filled with a solid value. Okay, and I'm going to move that one lower in the layer palette. Okay, the reason I'm doing that is you'll see. So I'm going to take the A key or the V key. A is direct select. V is the regular select. Now, what I want to do is show you that when you first make a gradient, see how the white's on the left and this marker is on the left? See how I could move the white over with that gradient selected? Look at how I could take the center icon and move it that way or move it this way. Okay, so it kind of obeys me. Okay, now I could take the black and I could switch it. I could switch it this way or just switch it this way. See that little icon right there? You can switch it back and forth real quick. Or you could just take these markers and just switch them manually. So that's whatever way you want to do it. Now look what happens if I click on this color stop. Those are called color stops or gradient sliders. And I'm going to click it and change the opacity to 0. Now the white's going to disappear, but it's going to let me see transparency through it. That's another cool aspect of radial, linear, and freeform gradients. You can make any one of the color stops or the sliders here and change the opacity. So I could change that to 30%. And you'll see just a little bit of pink. I could change it to 50%. And you will see a lot of pink. Now, another aspect to the gradient here is that I could take the G key, and as soon as I take and hit the G key, standing for the gradient tool, it's not really a tool. It's a directional tool. It's a directional technique. So look. I can take, regardless of where this is, here, let me zoom out a little bit so I can show you a couple of things here. Look at how I could start outside, as long as it's selected. My first click on the direction is going to be the left-hand side of this gradient palette. My let go is going to be the right-hand side. So look, I could click, hold the shift key and go up. Now I have more. That's the length of my gradient. Okay, so this slider bar here is that slider bar here. So obviously, if I went like this and then went up all the way, or started here, that's where the black is going to start. Hold the shift key and go up like that. You can see how I can direct the gradient. Now I could have done that inside the rectangle or outside the rectangle. I could have done it vertically this way, so you know the first click is the left hand side of this, the let go click is the right hand side. Okay, so I could start here where it's going to be the left hand side of the gradient palette, and my let go side is going to be now on the object's left, but it's coming from the palette's right. Okay, now if I wanted to, I could take any other color I want to and pick it up and place it right into the gradient. So you can see here how I've done that. Now, there's another aspect to it. Look at how in this 3-color gradient, okay, and I'm going to leave this rectangle back here so you know that I could click that color stop and make it 100% opacity, or just Command or Control Z back and I have it. But what I wanted to show you was, do you see that black and how between the black and the blue is an ugly gray? That's because the black is colorless. I have to put some dark blue in the black. How do I do that? I double click it and I get my slider bar right here. Now if it's an RGB, you can actually go over here to make it CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Okay? Now if I wanted to, in this neutral black, look at how I could pick up the cyan and watch how that gets, right away that gets beautiful. Now I could obviously add a little bit more magenta to it and it'll get even darker blue. Do you see now how the division between the blue and the black is not ugly or not gray? It's got color in it. Okay, so basically this is a colored black. It's got saturated blues in it. This is just a cyan color, right, or a blue, sky blue, and this is a permanent white or an opaque white that I have taken down to 50% opacity. Again, I could leave that selected, take it and put it at 100%, right, where it's like this, and now you can't see that transparent background through there, or I could click the blue and make it 50%, and you can see how I can kind of do a cool job there, all right? Now, I can take my G key, gradient directional, I'll call it a tool, and you can see how I can go on an angle, I can do this, I can actually now, instead of moving this blue to that side or to that side, I could take this blue and do it. So you have complete control. An Illustrator lets you actually look at how I'm taking the white off or I'm putting it back on. Look at how I could take this slider right here, this one, and I could actually just move it inside, right? Or I can hold it outside, and you can see here how I can actually angle it this way. See how I get a little circly arrow selector right there if I hold it outside, and I can take it like that. I can make it shorter, and then I can take this as soon as I get close to it, and you can see how I can go around like that. Now, I'm going to save this, so I'm going to pick up this gradient and put it into the swatches palette, and now I have it saved. Now, if I wanted one saved with 100% blue here, I now am going to pick it up and save it. So the difference between these two in the, let me go to a larger list view. The difference between these two is blue is transparent and this one, the blue is not. Now let's just switch to a radial gradient, because I want you to see that the left-hand side is always going to start out being the center of your circle. And there's plenty of things I want to show you here, okay? So now I'm going to take the white away. I'm just going to take it away for now, okay? And I'm going to move this out. Now look at how I can switch it so it's like this or like that. And you know that I could have taken the blue and dragged it here. I could have taken the blue and dragged it here. I could have also taken the black and dragged it on this side, right? Or the blue and used this one. Now, there's a really cool thing that I want to show you, okay? And I'm going to, if it takes me a second to remember how to do it, that's fine. But look at how I could add another one. So I could take a white right here. Now, what I want to do is, I'm going to Control Z back because I wanted to show you something. This is called an alpha, I don't know what the expression is, an alpha technique. If I hold Alt or Option, I can click and I can force the center to, I can, let me make sure I'm doing this right. So I can hold Alt or Option, and I can, I think I need to do, I don't think it's working. Well, let me just see what I'm doing here. I'm going to pause it and I'll come right back, okay? They've added one more little snicky to the technique here, and I'm going to pause this just for a second. Okay, I semi-figured it out, and this is what an alpha gradient looks like. So I'm going to click away from it first, okay? Look at how it's just a center radial with the left-hand side being blue, which is the center, and the right-hand side over here, the black, which is the outer. So I'm going to select it, okay? So now I'm in my gradient G key, okay? Now this doesn't work all the time, and I need to not select the black slider. I need to select the blue slider, or the one that's the center. Now, if I used to have to hold Alt or Option and click. Now, when I come over here, look at how when I go like that, now see, it didn't work that time, but I'm going to click it again and just do it again. Now, do you see how by me just doing the same process, I'm not quite sure what I'm not doing, but they changed it. It used to be an Option or an Alt click, and look at how you can force the center of a radial gradient to an edge. And look at how it kind of gives it that beautiful spotlight feel. Okay, now I'm going to Control Z or Command Z back. Let's try it again. So if I take this slider right there and I just click, sometimes I don't get it. So I'm going to Command Z or Control Z back, and I'm going to click away from it, click back on it. Okay, now I'm going to select it here, and you can see, okay, I'm trying to make it not work, and it's totally working. But if I try it again, you can see, well, it's working perfectly. You can see here how okay, now that time it didn't work. So let me select the center and just select out here. Nope, it didn't work that time. So I don't know what I'm doing differently, but let me try it again. Okay, so I'm not doing anything differently, and I'm going to just click on the edge, and now it's working. So just give it a couple of, I'm going to Google the what they changed, because I wasn't holding Alt or Option. But again, look at how absolutely magnificent. Now, it's not going to work this time. Okay, I could tell. So let's go like this, and let's force it right to the edge. Nope, it's not working that time. Let's go over here and click. Nope. See, it's so strange because I'm not holding Alt or Option, and I'm just going to quickly click. Let me click slower. Let me see if it works this time. See, it worked that time. It was so weird. Okay, not quite sure why it's not working all the time. And I'm not holding Alt or Option. I know I've said it several times. I'm trying to get it to not work, and I'm getting it to not work. So let's come out here and let's Command or Control Z back. Let's click away. Maybe I have to click away and click back on it. But now it works. Okay, but you can see how beautiful that is. Okay, that's what's called an alpha response or an alpha direction. Okay, now that is a cool part. I could always select it and take another let me take this magenta and just put it here for giggles. Okay, I'm going to actually go like this and move the blue to this side, and you can see how cool that is. All right, so that gives a really neat kind of feel to a radial gradient that a lot of people didn't know would work. Okay, so what I want to do now, and obviously if I would have hit the L key, deleted that out, I'm going to take this and memorize it. I'm going to now make a ellipse by hitting the L key, which is the elliptical tool, holding Option or Alt so I can go from the center out, and holding Shift and make a big one. And you can see here how that kind of looks really pretty. Now, if I take the G key and I move this over again, I can actually take any color and pop it in there, and it'll be really, really cool. Now, this is a magenta going to a blue black, right? Because I put blue in that black. How did I do it? I double clicked it and I changed this to CMYK, and I added the cyan and a little bit of magenta to the black. So this is not a neutral black, it's actually a colorful black, which is what's called a saturated black. Okay, so let me just delete this out, and let's go to another one where I'm going to make a freeform gradient. So let's take the L key and let's make a big one right there. And now I'm going to just start with this, okay? Now what I want to do is select the freeform gradient, okay? Now in a freeform gradient, you get these three markers that you can have or you can take and throw off, okay? But you can add another one there. It's points or lines, and you can definitely change where they are. You can even add another one. Let's add another one right there. Let's color it a different color. So I can drop the blue right on top of it like this. And now you can control this. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could take that freeform gradient, take that one which is selected right there, and change the opacity. I'll make it be 0. And you can see how it's now semi-transparent. It would be a cool planet effect in an outer space theme, right? That would be really, really neat. So I could take this background here, make it big, give it a nice black, And you can see how that just makes that a cool planet thing. And I could retake that right there, select, hit the G key, select that magenta, and go back up to 100%. So I could have a really pretty planet effect here. I could take this one and come over here and just do kind of a neat thing there, pull this blue off or put it on the corner and have the spread be just barely. So if I want the spread, right now the spread of that blue is at 0. So I could actually make that even go bigger or smaller depending on what number is in there. So that's kind of a neat thing. And that is basically all that a freeform gradient is. It's a free form. So when you want to see your color stops or your color sliders, you just hit the G key on both PC and Mac. You can move these over. You can take the spread of that one and make it even smaller, I think. You can even grab this. Look at how I can grab this and make the spread bigger or smaller. It's the smallest I can make it right there. And that's kind of fun. I mean, that is a pretty kind of neat planet. If I click away from it, you can see how that looks like an outer spacey kind of weird planet. But that's a freeform gradient, and you can make it any shape you want. Let me take this freeform gradient and notice how when I grab it and try to save it, it won't save because obviously it's an independent custom gradient. Okay, it's not like I want other ones to go in this shape. But look at how I could take the P key. I could actually add a point to that and pull that out. And I could make this be any shape that I want. So it doesn't have to be a square or a circle or an ellipse. You can actually make it any shape you want. And that is a cool part of it. Okay, so you can draw a shape and then just click the freeform gradient, start with any color and just add color stops. I think the minimum amount that it's going to be is, let me delete that out and just take and make a shape like this. Okay, now let me click the freeform gradient and it starts out with, let me hit the G key. It starts out with only one color here and one color here. So there's 2 colors in it. I could make a 3rd color and just start popping these inside, and you can see how I can do that. So I hope this has helped with your color theory here, but obviously on the linear gradient and on the radial gradient, the G key is a directional tool. On the freeform gradient, the G key just lets you see your color stops, and then you can add or take away color stops. I hope that has helped you, and let me know if you have any other questions, and we'll go from there. Thank you.